Hello everyone, welcome to Eggplants and Peaches. I'm your host Naomi Lopez. My pronouns are she, her, and today you are watching the first Q&A segment of Eggplants and Peaches. So for those of you who have been submitting questions, you already know that I've been posting answers on the website. But for those of you that are new to Eggplants and Peaches, it is a sex ed show for teens where we explore sex, pleasure, and everything in between. Eggplants and Peaches is inclusive, consent-based, and health-oriented, although it's not a medical show, so I can't diagnose or treat any illness. And for anybody who has medical questions, I will be referring you to a licensed medical provider. So if you go to eggplantsandpeaches.com, you will see that there is a questions tab, and under the questions tab, you can submit anonymous sex ed questions. All you have to do is submit the question and answer a few things like your age, your pronouns, your gender, and your sex. And then I will get the questions through an email and I answer them. And the way that people can look at their answers is they can go to eggplantsandpeaches.com again and look under the answers tab. And the answers tab will have the question and the answer. You're going to find that every Thursday at 8 p.m. MST time, I will publish a video for the questions that were submitted this past week, and you will get the answers through the video. And then you will get the answers transcribed onto the website over the weekend. So go ahead and submit your anonymous sex ed questions over the week, and I'll publish the video at 8 p.m. MST on Thursday, and then you can read the answers on the weekend. I hope that's clear. So let's get started. So the first question that I'm going to read out is it okay to feel aroused all the time? Like today I was out shopping and just felt really aroused. Now, I know the demographics to this question, and it was submitted by a female, she, her pronouns, sex was female, and her age was around 13 to 15. So I take that into consideration when I answer the questions. And the first thing I want to say is level of arousal varies person by person. It also depends on hormones and where you're at in puberty and just personality. So it is normal to feel aroused, and as long as you're not distracted to carry out everyday tasks in your life, like you're not falling behind in school because you're distracted by your arousal, then I think it's fine. What I've noticed though is that in the media, women or girls are not allowed to feel horny, or they're not depicted as horny, and so maybe that's why this question is a little bit more taboo for a female, because we aren't given the space in media to be horny or aroused. And I want to give you permission, and everyone who is a female watching this, to lean into your arousal and to essentially explore what that is. So, what does your body feel like when you're aroused? What are the things that'll trigger that feeling of arousal within you? Are you expressing the arousal in a really healthy way? Are you masturbating when you're aroused? And so instead of worrying about if it's healthy or not, as long as you're getting your daily life tasks completed and you can focus and the arousal isn't overbearing, then I say go for it and explore it. Because, we need space as females to experience arousal in a really healthy way, and we need to explore it because it's really fun and beautiful. So thank you for asking that question. Okay, the next question is, how do I hide my erection when I get one at school? It's so annoying when my penis just goes all hard randomly. Yeah. Yep, this was submitted by someone who identifies as male bisex, pronouns are him, and they're in the age of 13 to 15. So it's completely normal for somebody your age with a penis to have random erections. And I want to give you thorough advice. So listen up. Here are the things that you can do to cover up your erection if you get one at school or in public at all. You can carry with you a sweatshirt that can tie around your waist, and you can just wrap it around your waist and have the arms kind of dangle over your groin area so that it doesn't look as obvious. If you have a backpack that is a sling that can go over your shoulder, you can move it to the front. You can also place your hand in your pocket, and then you can hold your penis up so that it's kind of on your belly. So it's not just, in your pants, like pitching a tent for everyone to see. You can also wear tighter underwear or boxers. So sometimes wearing loose underwear or loose boxers or not wearing any underwear at all can cause the fabric to rub up on your penis, which would then cause stimulation, which would cause an erection. So this definitely happens with more like silk boxers. So if you're wearing those, that could be a reason why you're getting so many random erections. So try to wear tighter underwear to prevent that stimulation. Excuse me, I'm getting over a sinus infection, so I'm a little hoarse. I'm getting winded, but I'm okay. All right, next thing you could do is wear a belt, or if your underwear has an elastic band, you can then tuck the erection, your penis, in between your belly and the elastic band so that it's tight up against your abdomen and not, like I said, pitching a tent in your pants. If you're in class, you can cross your legs so that it's not as obvious. You can also do something like a little exercise. So what you can do is you can extend your leg out and flex your toe up towards the ceiling. And what this will do is this will cause a contraction in your thigh, and it'll contract the thigh muscle, which will then squeeze blood towards that area, which will then pull blood from the penis to the thigh. And since an erection is just a lot of blood going to the penis, getting the blood out of that area is going to then take away the erection. It'll go away. So that's something you can try, just 30 seconds on each leg, and it should help it go down. Also, thinking about the erection too much can allow it to stay. So it's like a positive feedback loop where you're thinking about the erection, it's still there, it's not going away. So just try to relax, maybe do that exercise, take a few deep breaths, and it should go away shortly. Another thing you can do is have a cold beverage with you, and then you can place the cold beverage on your lap so that it causes the erection to go away because of the coldness that's going to be on your groin area. So those are all tips and tricks that you can do if you get a random erection at an inconvenient time. I also want to just mention that there's nothing wrong with random erections. They happen during puberty, they can happen during adulthood. They're more prevalent during puberty. So if this is happening to you, just know that it is normal. I know it can be embarrassing, but also you're in school with people that are your age, so you have got to know that you're not the only one that this is happening to. So just knowing that you're not alone, this is normal, can sometimes make the burden of the random erection just feel a little bit more calming. So no shame in that, but these are some tips that I have for you. The next question: is it okay for boys to wear dresses? When I wear a dress, I get laughed at, and it makes me feel like I'm doing something wrong. First and foremost, this person identifies as male, by sex, and they, them, and they are between 13 to 15, I believe. So I'll be more thorough about that in the next videos, having the demographics for you all. But no, there's nothing wrong with wearing a dress or wearing any type of clothing that you feel comfortable in, and I'm sorry that people are making fun of you. I feel like you're a really brave person for doing this, and I'm sorry that you're getting made fun of. I think that society is becoming more gender fluid, and it's going to be more acceptable for people of all genders to express themselves in whichever way makes them feel most comfortable and whichever way is most them. And society will tell you if you have a penis, you have to look a certain way, or if you have a vagina, you have to present a certain way, but that's just not true. And I think the more that millennials are having children, and the more that Gen Z is growing up as well, we're going to see that these social constructs are going to be altered because they're just not acceptable. It's not acceptable to make fun of people for what they wear. It's not acceptable to question people on what they were wearing when they were sexually assaulted. It's not. So the way that you dress is your form of expression. If you want to wear a dress, I support you, and I hope that you have a support system as well, because it's going to be really important that you have a safe place to go to be yourself when people are making fun of you. A little story that I want to share is that when I was in high school, I was in student council, and I organized an opposite gender day. And I know that that's really dated because there's more than just two genders. There's many types of genders of the gender spectrum, but I've learned since then. But yes, I organized an opposite gender day. So essentially, girls and boys were given permission to dress however they wanted, or the opposite of what they generally dress like. And the turnout was that there were so many boys who were just giddy and gleeful to be wearing dresses, skirts, stuffing their bras, just so happy. And you know why they were happy? Because it was playful and fun. Because female clothing is so fun. And guess what? They had permission. And a lot of why people are resistant to wearing female clothing if they identify as male is because they don't feel like society gives them permission. And that's why they felt like it was fun, because they were told they could. And so I want to congratulate you for going against what people are telling you that you can do, because really these rules are not real, and I want you to feel safe, and I'm sorry that you're being made fun of. But yes, it is okay to wear dresses, skirts, and vice versa. If you identify as female, you can wear what you want. So I really want us to change the way we think about clothing and the way we present and what being female means and male means. And we're going to get into this more. I want an episode where we just dive into gender. There's a difference between sex and gender, and we all need to learn it. So, next question. Me and my friend, who was a boy, consented to experimenting, and I allowed him to rub my vagina. And he did it really, really fast, and it felt really good. But I had to stop him, as I had a feeling like I was going to wee. Is this normal, and should I have stopped or continued? Well, when it comes to sex and your pleasure, it's really a choose your own adventure type of path. So I can't tell you if you should have stopped or continued, because it's really what you wanted to do, right? You have to say, does this feel good? I want to continue, or is this too much, or do I feel uncomfortable and I want to stop? And that's the right answer for you, right? Whatever you feel is best, you have to express it, and that's it. No one can tell you what to do sexually, but what it sounds like is you were experiencing pleasure and you were about to ejaculate, which is very great and fun if that's something that felt good for you. The next time that you have your vagina rubbed by a friend or with yourself, if you're masturbating, you can decide to go down that path of feeling like you're going to wee, and generally that's what it feels like before a female ejaculates. So females can ejaculate. It is made of different fluids than when boys ejaculate, but it feels really relieving. It can feel like you're going to pee beforehand though, so just know that. And a little trick that I have established within myself is I'll make sure that I go to the bathroom before sex or masturbation, just so that I know that my bladder is not full. So if I get that feeling, then I know that that's not going to be urine, just because I've already gone to the bathroom. So if that helps you, you can try that. Or you could just be okay with like getting your sheets a little wet with urine, but I don't think that you're going to urinate. I think that it's female ejaculant. So also another thing you could do is try to play in an area that's not your bed. So when we grow up, we have this association between wetting the bed and wetting it. And so when you get that peeing sensation, it can feel really abnormal to let go when you're in the bed, because you have an association in your brain to not wet the bed. So you can try playing on the floor or in some private place that is going to be comfortable for you and your partner. And if you feel that sensation, you can just let go and just see what happens. And what you'll probably find is that you're going to ejaculate. So it'll be a gush of fluid coming from your vagina, and that is most likely going to feel pleasurable. Never do something if it doesn't feel good. If it feels uncomfortable, if you're thinking about it too much, stop and try again another time if you want to. So just something fun to do is to explore your sexuality. And if you get that feeling, go for it if you want to. All right, so for the next question, it is, when does puberty start? All right, so for most people, puberty is going to start around the age of 12 to 14. And these are just the average ages. So with averages, you're going to have ages that are older and you're going to have ages that are younger. So some people can start puberty as young as 8 years old. That's also normal. So around 12 to 14. I remember I started puberty around age 11, and the first sign of puberty for me was that I had just gotten new jeans for back to school season, so around the fall, and I bought them, my mom bought them for me in August, and then by October they no longer fit me. I remember laying on the bed like trying to get these jeans on, they just would not fit. My hips were getting wider, and that was a sign of puberty for me. So I knew that around 11 years old, I was starting puberty because my body was changing. I was getting thicker and just, widening out in my hip region. No pressure to start puberty. It's going to happen when it happens. Why are my bed sheets all sticky in the morning? Also, why does my penis stick up in the air? I suspect that you could be ejaculating in your sleep, which is completely normal for a person your age with a penis. This person, I should note, was around between 13 to 15, and they identified as male bisex. So during puberty, penises are going to experience wet dreams, which is ejaculation during your sleep, and this is totally normal. Males of all ages will get erections at night while they're sleeping, and that is completely normal. Some people think that it has to do with an association between a certain sleep cycle, the REM cycle, that will cause stimulation to the penis to make it erect at night. So the average male will have 3 to 5 erections per night. If you notice that your bladder is full, you have to go to the bathroom in the morning, and you have an erection, that could be causing it. The next question is, what will happen if I rub my penis, and is it bad? So, rubbing your penis is a form of stimulation to the penis. It can also be considered masturbation, and the nerves in the penis, when they're stimulated or rubbed, will communicate to the brain. That will cause more blood to move down into the penis and cause it to go erect. That can be very pleasurable for a lot of people. So I can't tell you if it's good or bad because I don't know if this feels good for you. If this is your choice, you want to do it, and it feels good for you, then I don't think it's bad. If you're being forced to do it, or if someone's making you do it in front of them, that's not consensual, and I would not categorize that as good. So as long as it feels good for you, it feels safe to explore, then it overall is a positive thing. Now, what I do want to say is that when it comes to rubbing your penis or masturbating, you're going to want to make sure that you're doing it in a private place. So, your bedroom or somewhere private, like in the shower. Because some people can get offended if you are masturbating in front of them without asking them their permission. So I would be offended personally if I was walking down the street and somebody, like a man, was masturbating in public. Like, I would feel violated. So whenever you're with somebody and you feel like rubbing your penis, you're going to want to ask them for consent if they're going to be in the same room as you, or say your parents are home and you're maybe doing it in the living room. Consider moving to your bedroom, even if your siblings are home too, because not everyone wants to be a part of that, and those are also conversations where consent can take place. So make sure that when you're masturbating or rubbing your penis, that it's a consensual thing between all people if there's more people involved. But no, there's nothing wrong with it. The next question is, what is a normal penis size? So I want to start by saying that all penis sizes are normal. So all penises are normal. And I know a lot of people get hung up on the size of it. So depending on the credible study that you look up, you're going to get an answer between 5.1 to 5.5 inches as the average length. But as I said, averages take into consideration numbers that are higher and lower, and that's what makes an average. So 5.1 to 5.5 inches depending on which study you read. However, there are so many factors that contribute to your sexual satisfaction for you and your partner. And some of those are going to be confidence. So how confident are you? People can feel confidence, especially when you are interacting in a playful and sexual manner. So confidence is going to be huge. There's going to be a lot of things that factor into pleasure, and that's going to include confidence. Another thing is going to be attraction. How attracted are you and your partner to each other? That is going to be huge. So the chemistry that you have in the bedroom with your partner is so important, and honestly I think it's more important than penis size. Another thing that could be important to you is girth. So how big the circumference is of your penis, so the measurement around the penis. Some people like a very girthy penis, some people like a very long skinny penis. So people have different preferences for what feels good for them, and all I have to say is just be confident with what you have, because you can't change it. And so there's many things that factor into pleasure, and it's not just penis size. Another thing is going to be anatomical compatibility. So what that means is there is a reason why everyone has a different penis size. There is a reason why vaginas have a different depth. So some vaginas are going to be longer than others before they reach the cervix. And if you're a person that has a really shallow vagina, meaning that you have a few inches before you hit the cervix, a really long penis could be uncomfortable for you. So you might prefer somebody with a shorter penis in length because sometimes the cervix can be uncomfortable if it's hit during intercourse. If you are having anal intercourse, sometimes a really girthy and long penis can be really uncomfortable. So sometimes a smaller penis might be more beneficial for that person if they're receiving anal sex. Some people like a really girthy penis, and length isn't so important to them. Some people like a really long penis. So people are going to have different preferences, and they're also going to have different anatomy, which is going to make certain sizes of penis more comfortable for them. And that's not to say like that if you have a partner that doesn't have the perfect anatomical compatibility, that you're not going to have great intercourse with them, because that's just simply not true. You have to factor in confidence, attraction, sexual compatibility, and those things all make a difference. So, like I've said before, don't get hung up on the penis size. Focus on you, your confidence, and the things that make you aroused and turned on, and explore your sexuality. Because what I would say is the most important thing when you are being intimate with somebody is that you know yourself, you know what feels good, and you are going in with consent and an open mind to explore. Next question is, how long does a period last? So the average period will last about 2 to 7 days, and they will vary in heaviness. So the average amount of blood that is shed is about 3 to 5 tablespoons, and for people who live in other countries besides the US, that is about 44 to 79 milliliters. But of course, this is average, so there's going to be people with heavier periods, there's going to be people lighter periods, and there's going to be people with longer or shorter periods. So you can expect your period to be about 2 to 7 days every single month, and that can vary between 21 to 35 days. So a menstrual cycle begins on the first day of your period, and then it ends on the day before you get your next period. Periods can be affected by hormonal birth control, stress, your sleep schedule, pregnancy, and also a variety of other medical conditions. So just be aware of that if you skip a period, you're going to want to take a pregnancy test if you're sexually active. Just know that periods vary. All right, so we're on to the last question of the day. What is the G-spot and what does it do? Good question. So that has been a topic of debate since the 1940s, and unfortunately there hasn't been a lot of funding to fund research for female pleasure, female reproduction systems. So the answer that you're going to get, depending on which source you read, is going to vary. Some scientists didn't even believe that the G-spot was real, that it didn't exist, and others believe that it is a part of the clitoral network. So if you look at an anatomical diagram, you'll see that the G-spot is directly behind the clitoris. So some people believe that it is made for pleasure and just made to increase sexual arousal during intercourse. Other people believe that the G-spot is there to make more lubrication. So if you find your G-spot, and I'll go into where it is in a minute, and you press on it long enough, or you stimulate it in the way that's stimulating and arousing for you, you could ejaculate, which is going to release arousal fluids. And it could be a form of lubrication as well. Which is very important for preventing STIs and microscopic tearing of the genitals. So the G-spot is an area pretty small. It's about the size of a quarter or smaller, and it's made up of this spongy-like tissue. So if you find it, you're going to notice that it just feels like kind of ribbed, kind of spongy and soft. And so the way you're going to find it is you're going to insert your finger into your vagina for anywhere between 1 inch to 3 inches, and then you're going to hook your finger. So, if you're doing it to yourself, you'll put your finger in and then you're going to hook it. So what's going to end up happening is that your nail is going to be pointing on the outside, towards the outside of your body. So go in and then hook up, and you will notice that it's going to feel like a very spongy type of tissue there. You can keep your finger there for a while with light pressure. You can try to keep your finger there with more heavier pressure. You can try to, tap your finger on it. Whatever feels good for you is going to be best for increasing arousal on the G-spot. Some people who have a G-spot don't experience, pleasure from it, and some people, they find it very arousing. So it varies from person to person. And if you don't have a vagina, you're not going to have a G-spot. So that's just for people who have a vagina. You're going to find a G-spot there. If you have questions finding the G-spot, go ahead and submit the question at eggplantsandpeaches.com. That concludes all of the questions for this week's Q&A session. So if you're watching this and you want to submit questions, go ahead and go to www.eggplantsandpeaches.com and then go to the questions tab up above. Then fill out the form. I'll get the email, and then I will compile the questions and compile my answers and create a video for you every Thursday at 8 p.m. MST time. And you can also look forward to the transcribed answer on the website under the answers tab. So that's eggplantsandpeaches.com. You can follow me at eggplants_peaches on Instagram and eggplants and peaches on Facebook. Thank you so much for participating. I'll see you next week.